Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. Episode 10. Episode 10. Crazy.
Wow, we've hit a milestone here.
Absolute milestone. Can't wait for episode 1000. When by then we'll have like 50 million followers on Spotify, maybe like 1 million subscribers on YouTube. It's just going to be absolutely
Maybe
nuts.
at least a Spotify deal,
Yeah, well, maybe we'll sprinkle in some advertisements, start getting a little cha-ching.
Yeah,
But
hey, Justice sent his Spotify podcast Wrapped.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we were on there, and I was like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. Like,
we're number 3.
We're a small podcast, but, seeing yourself on that is pretty cool. So
we're doing well within our friend group, that's for sure.
Wait, hey, for episode 10, since my voice is already working, let's do the intro, and my name will actually be said.
Okay. So for those of you who haven't watched the previous 9 episodes, apparently every time we introduce ourselves, I say my name, I say the podcast, and I say my name, and then Adam's supposed to say his name, and it never shows up. The audio is cut out. So now, episode 10 of the Just Hone In podcast with your hosts, Justin Azzola and
Adam Honer.
All right.
If that doesn't work, then I'm gonna get clowned so hard. It's gonna be so.
If that doesn't work, then I'm gonna have to just introduce you every single time. If that doesn't work, or we're gonna have to do like
I'm working on getting the headphones. So
okay.
Yeah, I gotta get the cord ones that connect to the computer, and I'll get them to work. But for now, this is what you got. Also, we released a YouTube channel, so if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. Subscribe.
Click that bell.
Yeah, notifications on, so you
give us a little like. I think I checked shortly after uploading all the prior episodes on YouTube. I checked subscribers, and as of a few days ago, you were the only one. So
hey man,
one to start. We
haven't promoted it yet. Nobody really knows about it.
If you're watching this on YouTube, on Spotify, just go over and click that subscribe button. Make us feel good. Let's get to 10 subscribers.
Enough begging. Let's get into the topic.
10 subscribers by next week. How about that? That's pretty good.
Hope so.
Okay.
Hope so.
To start off, week 13 NFL recap. Some news. My 49ers suck. They played in a crazy snow-filled game where the Bills' offense had a day, in at least James Cook and Josh Allen. The Niners' offense started off, CMC was looking good. I think he had like 70 yards or something in the first quarter. But injures his knee, out for the rest of the regular season, and there's reports saying, he could possibly return for playoffs. Well, I'm not confident that we'll even make it to the playoffs.
That's a big if right there, I'd say.
So, and then to make matters worse, for the Niners and for fantasy players who held on to Jordan Mason as the handcuff for CMC, he got injured too. And I believe he's out this week, maybe even being placed on IR.
I saw that he was.
Is he on IR?
I saw a notification on Sleeper that said he was, but I could be wrong.
Then it's got to be official.
I know, but that was also a couple days ago, so maybe they just did it air there. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll have to look later.
But now Garendo.
Yeah, my new RB2. My new RB2. I've been searching for the entire season, and it comes on the last week of the fantasy regular season. So.
And you need him.
Need him. We'll get into that later, but need him to get out of the punishment. But yeah, for the Niners, I think this is the sign. I think we've been kind of saying it all week, but I feel like this is bad. This is not really what people had in mind for the Niners this season, especially coming off the Super Bowl run last year, or the Super Bowl appearance last year. It's totally not what you expected. Because, on game, like, you thought McCaffrey was playing week 1, like, as,
right.
Man was thinking. So, like, ever since that news, it's just kind of been, like, just a whirlwind and not really what people have expected out of the Niners this year, and I think their chances are pretty much done. I mean, I think the division, we talked about it last week, is like tight, so there's obviously still a chance, but I mean, just the matchups just aren't very, as favorable, and just the injuries have. I mean, no McCaffrey or Mason. Garendo's played well, but this could be interesting to see how he plays with as the lead guy. So he's still young,
Right. And they have some tough matchups coming up, and so you think like maybe they're down points. I mean, their defense hasn't been playing well either, so if they're down, maybe they'd pass it more, and then Garendo kind of gets phased out that way. But he's a fast guy, and I feel like he's played well in the limited amount of plays that he has gotten this year. A few weeks, like in the middle of the season, Jordan Mason went down with a shoulder injury, and Garendo came in and filled in pretty good for him.
Yeah.
So for the rest of that game, we'll see what happens, but definitely probably the biggest waiver wire ad of the week for fantasy
Yeah, and I feel like there really
Garendo.
hasn't been the many like waiver wire pickups this year. Like I felt there were definitely some like earlier on in the season, and then some have been like kind of sporadic, but they've also kind of been like someone would like pick someone up the stash and then they would become someone good. Like it wasn't really like directly like, oh, this is the guy to add. Like there was no Puka this year, no Puka Nakua this year. So it's kind of
Yeah,
interesting
I
year fantasy wise.
in a lot of leagues, I would say that the waiver wire pickup of the year is probably, which we'll talk about him later too, Bucky Irving. But in our league, the limit league, Vaughn actually drafted him, and he's had him the whole season. But I know in my other leagues, he was a waiver wire ad, and he's been pretty good
Yeah,
as of
as
late.
someone that's been bottom of the standings every single week for half the season and having the first waiver wire pick, I'm very familiar with who's on the waiver wire and nothing very special out there. So it's definitely been a tough year on that front, but that's how it goes sometimes. But
Yeah,
let's moving on from the Niners. I want to talk about the Bears. The Bears have been. I mean, it's an interesting year for the Bears with Caleb coming in. They fired their offensive coordinator recently, and they're in a really tough. They're in like the toughest division in the entire NFL with the Lions, Vikings, and Packers, all with very exceptional records. And you know, the previous 2 weeks before Week 13, they had block kicks that caused them to lose the game. And then Week 13, another meltdown led to head coach Matt Eberflus getting fired right after, which I mean, it's kind of deserved, honestly. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but the writing was kind of on the wall a little bit with how they were played and definitely how they managed that game.
yeah. The players were furious after that loss. There was a lot of heat. There's said to be a lot of heated moments in that locker room, particularly after the loss to the Lions on Thanksgiving. For the people who didn't watch the game, the Bears had a chance to go down the field. If they scored a touchdown, they win the game, but it was more likely that they'd kick a field goal to tie it to then send to overtime and complete like a three score comeback. Um, they go down. They get into like kind of field goal range. It's at the edge. I would say. I think they're like if the TV's highlighting the line where they estimate that the kicker would be comfortable. I think they were a few yards back, but basically they had one timeout left with like 40 plus seconds or 40-ish seconds on the clock, and they proceeded to let that clock run down all the way until the end of the game. Or, I think they snapped it with like 3 seconds left, and, they weren't able to, the clock ran out. They weren't able to make a completion to then call a timeout pretty quick. Nothing. And it was third down. So, like, if they even get one play off, get a few yards, call a timeout on fourth down, kick the field goal. Matt Eberflus caught cut the bullet on that one with the firing. But I also think Caleb Williams should get more, and maybe he is. I haven't been really watching any other sports platforms, but I think he should be getting a little bit more criticism. I mean, he is a rookie, and at the end of the day, like the head coach, you have the power to call a timeout too. But I think he got sacked, or like he rushed, got back to the line of scrimmage, something went down, and then they had to, go no huddle and get back quickly. He took his time. He was like trying to make sure everything was right, whatever, like calling audibles, I don't know, waving his hands all over the place. And, he didn't even snap the ball. Like he was back behind the center. I think he was in shotgun, but he was back there. Could have snapped the ball for like 20 seconds, maybe even more, and didn't. And so, I don't know. It
Well,
not a good ending for the Bears, that's for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, to like talk about that, like Caleb's a rookie, like he hasn't really been in like too many situations in the NFL like that where you're on a game-winning drive. It's not
But
like
I mean, he's played football his whole life, right?
right, but the NFL's a bit different. Like when you're put in that setting, it's a whole new ball game. Like so many great quarterbacks in college don't translate to the NFL. And I think it's skill wise, but I think it's also IQ wise. The levels up even more, and it's not like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers are out there who've done it so many times that they know exactly what to do. Like this is foreign territory, and it's like maybe is it Caleb? Do you blame Caleb because he hasn't had enough experience with it, or is it do you blame the coaching staff because they haven't prepped him correctly for these type of situations? Because I think it's also on the coaching staff to make sure that your quarterback is ready for the
100%.
situation, especially a
100%.
rookie that's never really experienced it before. You need to prep him as much as you can, and like the fact that he wasn't able to translate that, I think there's definitely a reason why the coaches have gotten the brunt of the blame for the Bears, but for Caleb, like for the Bears, these next couple of years are really important. Like they're huge because this will determine if the Bears are a solid team or back at the bottom again. Because you need to convert on Caleb, and if you don't feel that the people around him are the right people, then you need to make that decision as soon as possible because you need to make sure that your franchise is ready and to be set up for the next couple of years. Because if this fails, then it's going to be another tough few. It's going to be a long time for the Bears. It's going to be tough for them again. So.
Yeah.
Definitely
I
need to make
think
sure you convert on this opportunity with Caleb.
I agree. I think regardless of how the season finished, just how it's gone so far, and if you take this game out of it and say they do manage to kick a field goal or whatever, I think Eberflus is still let go.
Yeah.
Still fired in the off season, but the fact they had this whole debacle led to his firing. It's the first time the Chicago Bears have fired a head coach, in season.
Yeah.
And they're a storied franchise. Like they've been around. The reason why they play on Thanksgiving Day, as well as like the Lions and the Packers and all these teams, is because they've been around since like the beginning of the NFL, and they have these deals to like, we will always be playing on Thanksgiving or whatever, for
Cowboys are
however
always
many
on
years.
Thanksgiving.
What's up?
Cowboys are always on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, these teams that have just been around for ages have these sorts of deals with the NFL that they have to be playing there. But yeah, I think they fire him regardless. It'd be interesting if they go for. I think a few weeks ago we talked about Ben Johnson. You think maybe he's rumored to be very selective in his. If he were to be a head coach, he's the offensive coordinator for the Lions. But going to an offense with Caleb, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, Rome Odunze. There's Keenan Allen there, but he's
probably
probably
on the off season.
Yeah.
Probably talk about the off season at some point later on in a couple months, but
then another one before
do
we
you see
move
they
on is
promoted? Sorry, one last thing. They promoted the new offensive coordinator to the interim head coach. So the guy that replaced the OC is already being the interim head coach. So now they got to get their third offensive coordinator of the year. What a mess.
Dang.
It's going to be some guy that's in-house for sure.
Yeah.
Quite a promotion, that guy.
Yeah, 2 promotions in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But another head coach that is rumored to maybe the Bears would look at is Cliff Kingsbury. He was the offensive coordinator for for USC, the Trojans, when Caleb Williams won the Heisman, right? So maybe
No, I
they
think it was
reunite.
still Lincoln Riley. Or no. No.
Well, he's offensive coordinator, not head
Yeah, but
coach.
Lincoln Riley's the head coach now. And they signed him to because they signed Lincoln Riley to an 8-year deal. And I know about this because my dad follows USC football. He went there and he's like, dude, we need to get
Right,
Lincoln
but Cliff
out of
was
here.
the
He's like
OC.
praying. He's praying that the Bears go for Lincoln Riley to save Caleb and the Bears because they have that relationship. But like Lincoln Riley can't even manage a USC team. What do you think he's going to do with the Bears? But I don't think Cliff Kingsbury would do well either. His tenure with Arizona was not very good either.
Yeah, but Lincoln was Cliff was the offensive coordinator for USC.
Yeah. Dude, but Cliff Kingsbury, like, I don't think he's a very good coach. He had Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech in college and like had like a 500 record. You Patrick Mahomes, how do you go 500? It doesn't care what level you're on. Like Cliff Kingsbury is not the answer, and I think if the Bears do choose him, I think they're gonna be outraged. The fans are gonna be outraged. It's not gonna be very good.
Yeah.
But I do like the Ben Johnson option, and I feel like there's some more that are gonna kind of pop up here and there. But I don't know about Cliff.
We'll see.
Is that what they've been saying, or
that's what I've seen? Not like from Bears,
right? Just
personnel, but just the media. It's just it's a storyline.
Yeah, right.
Because he's currently the offensive coordinator for the Commanders, and their offense has played well with the rookie quarterback.
I think he's a good OC, but I don't think he's a good head coach. I think it'd be a mistake.
So we'll see. In other news, Trevor Lawrence put on IR after getting annihilated on Sunday against the Texans. He was sliding to give himself up, and Aziz Shahir from the Texans lit him up.
Yeah, late
hit, and was ejected from the game from that late hit after New York reviewed it, the booth, and now he's been suspended for 3 games. Trevor Lawrence on IR, he'll be out for 4 games. And the Jaguars season is over. It's been over for a long time. But the Texans kind of still fighting for that division title. And Aziz Shahir has been like really good for them this year on the defensive end. So maybe that hurts them. We'll see. They're heading into the bye, so that game that's not a game, and then it'll be 3 weeks after that. So
I think it's it was a bad hit for sure. Watch. I don't know if anyone we had the chance to see it, but if you haven't seen it, I would probably want to see it. It's pretty bad. Like, I gotta give credit to the Jaguars players. They like started fighting Aziz right away. Like, they are just no hesitation. Like, that's what you got to do when your quarterback gets hit like that. Like, you can't like let that slide. So like, they did the right thing. Like, fighting against him. Like, pushing him. You got to do that. You got to stick up for your quarterback. But I mean, tough for the Jaguars. They've had a tough. They only have 2 wins already, and now their quarterback's out for 4 weeks. That's their season's done. I mean, if it wasn't already. And Alshire, I was talking to Justin about this earlier. I think he should be suspended for the amount of games that Trevor Lawrence could miss. So if Trevor Lawrence is on IR for 4 games, like, I think Alshire should be suspended for 4 games, because I feel like that's a bit fair. Like, you're the one that took him out. Like, you got ejected for that. Like, you made a bad decision. Like, you need to, it needs to be fair. But maybe they can do that one day. I feel like that's a smart idea. But yeah, definitely a tough hit. I don't. Who's is that Mac Jones, the backup? He's gonna be starting for the rest of the season, or not the rest of the season, but the majority of the rest of the season.
Yeah, Mac Jones is the backup. I think the Jaguars. I mean, Trevor Lawrence put up like 0 points basically. He had I think maybe 0.42 points on the day, and Mac Jones and the Jaguars almost came back and beat the Texans. The Texans had to get a few first downs at the end of the game, and they did, and it was over. But I think the final score was like 23-20. A lot of people on the Jaguars, like the receiving core, actually had decent games. Evan Ingram, 7 for 41. Brian Thomas had a touchdown, and Parker Washington had like 6 receptions, 12 targets for like 100 yards, something like that. So, hey, maybe Mac will sling it. We'll see.
Well, he's got nothing to lose, so
I
he might
think
as well go for it. So
one thing to bring up about these late hits is, I the other sports podcast I listened to was kind of talking about, and I haven't watched the replay. I only saw it when I saw it, and can only remember so much. So like, it's not like I watched the replay 30 seconds ago, but I kind of believe it. Trevor Lawrence, like all these quarterbacks, are kind of giving. People might be arguing that they're giving themselves up too late. Like he's running, right? He's running for the first down. He's trying to get a first down or however many yards, whatever. And he realizes, yo, I'm about to get smacked by a linebacker. And like right before that happens, he gives himself up, and the linebacker's kind of already committed. And I think when I saw it in slow mo, if I'm remembering correctly, I think he did give himself up kind of late, but also like, uh, the linebacker kind of saw him giving himself up and proceeded to then go even lower.
yeah,
But I think, to hate on Patrick Mahomes again, out of the blue, he recently in a lot of games that I've watched, like how if you're a quarterback or any player and you're giving yourself up by running out of bounds, if you get hit out of bounds, it's unnecessary roughness, right? But Patrick Mahomes recently has been using that to the defender's disadvantage.
yeah. He did the
So
fake. He did the fake.
yeah, he'll run to the sideline, slow up, defender pauses because I'm not going to get called for this, and then kind of hits the back on the Xbox 360 joystick to
Yeah.
jump back and then get 20 more yards.
Well, did
Or
you ever see the? I think it was a college game. It was, I forget who did it, but it was a really good quarterback. He's probably in the NFL now. I forget. Really, was it Joe Burrow? I don't. No, I think it was someone more recent. But they basically did a fake slide. They
yeah,
they went down and like pretended to slide, which like made like the defender like hesitate, and then he just like ran past him because I mean he was not going to risk getting the penalty.
right. So
Restriction. So yeah,
there's the balance
some
between
cheese
that.
going on there.
There's
That's
some cheese.
yeah.
So just something to think about as well. Last piece of news: Taysom Hill out for the rest of the season. In recent weeks, like in 1 week, he had 40 plus fantasy points. Then he went on a bye, and people were kind of excited to insert him into the lineup. In another league, I was planning on doing so. Out for the rest of the season. He's 34 years old, which we discussed a few podcasts ago, probably after his boom week. 34 years old, and he's not your traditional player. He's doing a lot like goal line work. He's getting big hits when he's doing stuff for the Saints. So you kind of think about, will the Saints bring him back next year? Is this the end of his career? Who knows? To be injured this late in the season, and I think it's an ACL injury or a knee injury, you're probably out for a year or 10 months. So
Yeah,
you
it could
figure
be.
that he'd return late in the season, if anything, if they sign him, and he'll be 35. The Saints obviously love him. Like there's no other 34-year-old like doing this, playing this type of role for a team. But it'll be interesting to see.
My prediction is he's done, and he'll get picked up for the coaching staff in New Orleans.
That's not a bad prediction.
I think that's a pretty good prediction there. But hope he comes back. But I mean, age, father time is tough, and especially the role that he plays. There's a lot of kind of dirty work that he does, and I don't know if he's gonna have the same speed, and like it's tough. It's tough out there, but definitely is a future coaching regardless. Great player, great mind. I mean, if you're a player that's playing all these different roles, you definitely have a great football mind. So definitely can see him as a future coach. I don't know about head coach, but definitely in a coaching staff in the locker room. So
Yeah, definitely. I think you get the impression that people in the coaching staff, they like him, they trust him,
yeah.
and so I think that's a solid prediction. Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. Is it time for the
It's time.
fantasy week 13?
It's time. Week 13 fantasy recap. Started off with a W.
Hey, beat Justice this week. Go up to 4-9. Solid week from the boys. I just want to state for everyone hating on that trade against Justin, with Justin, everyone's like, Honer, you got fleeced. People are coining it as you got breeced because I traded Breece Hall. Hey, but since I did that trade, I'm 2-1, and I wasn't doing that trade to make the playoffs. I knew I was done. My only reason is to get out of the cellar and try to get out of the punishment. And I actually got a chance. Because of this trade. So, Jaden Reed got me 19, and David Montgomery's got me 15, and they're definitely putting up more points combined than Breece Hall was for me per week. So, definitely satisfied with their production. My defense and my kicker has just been actually pretty, I've swapped through defenses, but they've all been good for me. And Fairbairn's been amazing. He's been the number one kicker this year. Number 2 now, but unsung hero. Portuguese on a bye this week, so I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do. But overall, team was pretty solid, and definitely helps that Justice had a down week. Drake London had a good week, but besides that, Hunter Henry, a rare 14-point game. But besides that, CeeDee Lamb, Cooper Kupp, nothing. And definitely helped me out there. And he definitely needed to beat me because now he's really in a position to try to make the playoffs here. So,
yeah. Glad you got the win.
Appreciate it.
The podcast duo going 2-0 this week.
Yep.
Love to see it. I'll be rooting for you again this week.
Appreciate it. I got Patrick this week, which could be a tough matchup, but miracles happen. So
miracles do happen.
We'll be going a little faster through this, just because we definitely want to talk about the fantasy playoffs coming up in a couple weeks. But Jack beat Andrew, keeps himself in the playoff hunt. He needed this win to stay in. Jaden Daniels had a really good week against Tennessee, and David Njoku had a big breakout week.
Won him the
Denver.
week.
Yeah, some of the Browns players definitely boomed this week. Jameis Winston had a good week, and I'm missing somebody, but
yeah. We'll get to him. I'll save him. All
right. You want to talk about Andrew Side a little bit? Andrew still had a good week, though, but, he just got outscored.
Yeah, 121. A few weeks ago when we were looking down the last 4 games of the season, I think it's when Lucas was on the pod, I have in my notes. Let me actually just turn back a few pages. I had, I guess 3 weeks have gone by, so Andrew was 4-6. So it kind of gives it away. But I had Andrew going 4-0 to end the season because, if you look at his team, it's got some name brand players. Yeah. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, hasn't been able to put it together to stack up wins. He's gone 0-3 in the first 3 weeks of what I predicted him to go 3-0, and now obviously not in the playoff contention.
No.
But Justin Jefferson, solid week. George Pickens, solid week. Chase Brown, good. Baker kind of let people down, playing against Carolina, only put up 10 points. He's banged up, though. He had an ankle injury, missed 2 plays, came back in. You see him in the end of the game running for a first down. He's pretty hobbled, but that man's. I'm a fan of Baker.
Yeah.
I think you used to think he's kind of cocky, and he had a good rookie season with the Browns, then proceeded to kind of fall off. Maybe his ego got in the way, but his revival of his career in Tampa.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun watching him. He's got a lot of passion and grit.
Yep.
A lot of passion and grit for those Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep. Instead of Andrew being in playoff talks, he's in punishment talks. So definitely he's probably the unluckiest team this season. Might have to do something with this team picture. Might have to get rid of that next year.
I'm just happy
luck.
Last year the T Swift Travis Kelce connection in the NFL was overblown. Was freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he drafted DeAndre Swift and he drafted Travis Kelce. So what did he do? He made the name I Love T Swift. Now, and he has Jordan Love on the bench. That's where the love comes from. Okay?
Yep.
Now, I'm just happy it didn't work wonders in this league, because that would have had to mean something. That would have just had to mean something. It's worked for the Chiefs still this year. They're 11-1, but I'm glad it didn't infect our fantasy league.
All right, our next matchup, our former podcast guest Lucas edges out Jason, who's number one. Jason already is the only team that's clinched in the playoffs, but big win for Lucas. That kind of solidifies his spot in the playoffs. At 8-5. Starting Anthony Richardson, he's been kind of, we talked about a lot about Anthony Richardson this year in the Colts. Definitely been kind of an up and down year, and definitely paid off for him this year. But his running back super solid. Devontae doing his thing. Brian Thomas, surprising, with Trevor Lawrence being out for most of the game. So what a productive day. So solid line for Lucas, and he's going to want Devontae Smith back, and J.K. Dobbins is going to be out for a little while. We didn't mention him, but he's going to be out for a while. I don't know if it's the season or most of the playoffs.
I know he's on IR, but yeah. I feel like he might miss the rest of the season. I don't know.
We'll find out, but he's going to have to rely on Bijan and Joe Mixon, which, I mean, if there's two quarterbacks to rely on or running backs to rely on, I'd rely on them. They're some pretty solid options.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason's team is pretty solid. Doesn't have the depth, unfortunately, which is, you kind of need that for the playoffs. But, I mean, the most important thing for a playoff team is making sure that you have a really good starting lineup, which I think he does. But, Lab McConkey's been very underrated this year. Lamar's Lamar. So, it's not going to have Lamar next week, which is going to be interesting. But his team's still very solid and should be poised to make a run, hopefully.
Yeah. With this loss, I think, well, maybe not. With this loss, Jason is the only team to clinch the playoffs officially.
Mm-hmm.
But with this loss, and if he loses again this week, he has a chance to then slip from the 1 seed to the 3 seed.
Yeah.
If the 8-5 teams stack up some wins and get some points, so it'll be. He's got to win this week. You don't want to fall out. You don't want to. You don't want to fall out of that bye week. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what transpires.
All right, Justin. You can take over on this one. Beating Z, who I would say is the opposite of Andrew. He's probably the luckiest team this year. Should be fighting for the punishment, but can't. That's a different story. But Justin, take it away. 5-game winning streak.
5-game winning streak. It's had a 3-game winning streak to start the season, 5-game losing streak, coinciding with the start of this podcast, and now a 5-game winning streak to go to 8-5, and I'm in the 2 seed. I was the 7 or 8 seed, and now I'm the 2 seed.
Can we get a compilation, Patrick? I know you're making a compilation of clips. Can we get all the clips of Justin complaining about his team when we first started the podcast? And
is he making a compilation?
Oh yeah. He's. I hope so. At least he was showing me the clip about. I won't say it. Maybe maybe Patrick, if he makes the compilation, we can post that on our YouTube and just have like a 10 episode clip special or something. I don't know. I'll talk
that
to him about it.
that would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot to complain about. I still do. Brees Hall, 6 points, not going to cut it. I might not play him this week. I might have to play Najee Harris, which I'm a bit scared about because he plays the Cleveland Browns, which aren't like a scary matchup, but they played the Cleveland Browns 2 weeks ago, and Jalen Warren got all the work. And then this last week, all of a sudden, Najee Harris gets all the work. So it's just like, again, I wish I didn't. Looking back on it, I traded for Brees Hall, traded away David Montgomery and Jaden Reed, hoping that Brees Hall would kind of he had a really good end to last season, and so I was hoping like more of the same would happen. The Jets would kind of start figuring out. He had a week where he put up 33 fantasy points. It was RB3 on the week, but the other few weeks he's put up 6, 8. Had a bye week, so it hasn't been too strong. Definitely need him to play well or Najee to help me with a postseason run. I will say on the flip side, I was playing Zach this week. I was projected to win, but if you're playing Zach, you got to be scared. He has been notorious for just being the underdog, I guess, this year. His team, I feel like, is never projected to win, or if they are, it's, if ESPN has a 50% probability to start the week just because you're projected even points. But he's dominated some of the giants in our league. I think he's beat Jason, maybe Patrick and others.
I would say it's because of this man.
Cortland Sutton, wide receiver 7, and on his bench, saved me the win this week. Jerry Jeudy.
Oh, that's who it was. 40, that's right.
40 fantasy points. And you know what? I don't know if I think he mentioned
already
this.
Receiver 14 because of that. That's crazy.
Yeah, but if you look at, I think since Jameis took over, he's like wide receiver 3 or something.
Legit.
That's crazy. It helps with the 40-point week, but still 12, 14, 26, 14, 14. Like that's solid.
I mean, look at week 7 and before. I mean, did a total 180 on the season.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically.
He had him the entire season. So give him credit.
Same thing happened last year with the Browns. Deshaun Watson was the quarterback. The team sucked.
Yep.
Joe Flacco comes in, revives the entire Browns offense. They make the playoffs.
Yeah, Amari Cooper. Yeah.
Exactly. David Njoku, all these players were Nick Chubb got
hurt.
Pretty bad injury, but the pass catchers were playing really well.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you fast forward to this season, they don't even bring back Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco goes to the Colts, which I was kind of shocked about. Instead, they get Jameis Winston, who's notorious for throwing a lot of yards, maybe some touchdowns, but also throwing a lot of picks. I mean, he had 6 passing touchdowns this weekend, 2 of which went to the defense. He threw 2 pick sixes, but he threw for nearly 500 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Jerry Jeudy had over 200 yards of that. What's kind of crazy is I think Jerry Jeudy was on the Broncos for like 4 years prior to being traded to the Browns this season. His, I don't know, was it like 230, 220 receiving yards that he got this week accounted. If you compare that to his career-long stats in Denver, it was like 8% of his receiving yards that he got over 4 years in Denver, which is kind of nuts.
Crazy stuff.
So I think Zach's team still had a solid week, honestly. It's just Debo let him down, only 4.
Yeah.
And Garrett Wilson, 10 targets, but only 9 points.
Beat him by 20. You put up 130, so he hasn't really been scoring that high. So I feel like he'd beat a lot of teams with that 114, though, based off how this season's gone.
Yeah.
Our penultimate matchup. Vaughn squeaks out a win against Patrick, which is another huge win because he's fighting for that last playoff spot too. He's currently sitting at the 6. A lot of his players have revived, especially with Tua back. So really took a risk with taking A-Chain and Tyreek Hill this year, and had a dip in the season when Tua was out. But I feel like Tua and the Dolphins are fully back, and I wouldn't say peak because their peak was crazy, but definitely back to the consistent level. So that's definitely helped out. And Scary Terry's been good with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. And he even managed to survive a 1 point week from George Kittle, which was unheard of this year.
Yeah,
Um, Played the Browns defense. I don't know how they only got 0 points,
yeah, it was just so high scoring. That was not expected.
but I feel like it would be negative. They didn't get any pick sixes or anything. Um, I think they got a few maybe like one or two interceptions off of Bo Nix, but
Take a
to
look.
still only get 0 and give up 41 points
Two
is
picks
pretty.
actually,
Yeah, 2 picks.
but
Okay.
29 points allowed. That's the killer right there.
Oh, so yeah, it's not 41 because of the 2 pick sixes by Denver.
Yeah,
I see. Makes sense. But yeah, solid outing from Josh. I mean, Jacobs, A-Chain, Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, George Kittle, that core can definitely carry if he manages to make playoffs, can definitely
yeah,
work some magic for a late
yeah.
postseason run.
Good postseason run squad, and Patrick, who's kind of the front runner, had a really big winning streak this year. Loses and drops, out of the bye seeds, the 1 and the 2. So not what you want to see from him if you're the Who Day owner, Patrick Ronnie.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have kind of been the heart and soul of this team, and I mean, Derrick Henry's been good, but I feel like Derrick Henry's been kind of he's dropped off for the past 4 weeks. Actually, he's
not
only
getting the
scored 14 or
touchdowns.
less, which is it's been, I think, ever since I put him on the redraft squad, he's been putting up those points. But it is what it is. It's probably my fault for that. Um, but yeah, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase being the heart and soul of his team, and he's definitely going to need them if he wants to make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah, it. I mean, Kenneth Walker and Aaron Jones let him down. Kenneth Walker only 6 points. When you play against the Jets, you'd think he'd score some more. And Kate Otten, who was really good for a few weeks there when Chris Godwin and Mike Evans were out, and Baker Mayfield was throwing him like every single ball, but he's kind of been cooling off as of late as well. What's good to see for Patrick is DJ Moore. I think the
Yeah,
past 3 games, DJ Moore has played a pretty sizable role in this Bears offense, probably since
yeah.
he had 13 points,
I mean,
but then
he
20,
had
26
16
and 20.
targets last week.
Yeah, so that's going to be good. I feel like for the majority of the season, his weak spot was the wide receiver 2, and
Yeah,
now he's got DJ Moore. Easy plug and play.
and he plays the
Um,
Niners next week, so
yeah,
expect a big week.
expect a big week for
No,
sure.
I'm kidding. I don't know. Find out, but
So
he's got a pretty good bench too. He's got Caleb. He's got Jacoby Myers. He's got B. Rob. He's got Watson. Bills D. I
even the
mean,
Muth
he's got some
had a
depth.
good week.
So, I think the key for Patrick is make sure he doesn't tinker his lineup. Don't mess around too much with it. Stick with your guns. But you definitely want to consider playing B. Rob after the past couple of weeks out of your running backs.
Yeah, I guess last thing to mention is I forgot, but on Vaughn's bench, Bucky Irving,
Yeah, big Bucky.
27 points. The man only had 5 points at halftime. And he, going into the locker room at half, was like fully wrapped up, like his hip was fully wrapped up, was limping to the locker room. Comes out of the locker room, they pan to him on the sideline. The sideline reporter gives a report saying he will be playing through it, but he's got the Theragun just like drilling into his hip, trying to like loosen it up. Proceeds to put up over 20 points in the second half. Absolutely cooked. He's one of the main reasons why I lost in a different league. But that's another player that,
Yeah,
Vaughn probably plays over Tony Pollard going forward.
yeah,
I would. I mean, the Bucks, if you look at their schedule, I think it's pretty solid
yeah.
going
But
forward.
I think it's just kind of interesting with. I mean, he's getting a lot of the carries. I mean, he's by far his biggest game carries wise.
Yeah, he was
I mean,
cooking
he's at 27. It's just
back-to-back
you never
weeks.
know with Rashad White in there. But it definitely looks like the roles definitely shifting towards Bucky Irving's way. It depends how does Vaughn want to go safe and play Tony Pollard, or does he want to go for it all and play Bucky Irving?
So,
I feel like Vaughn's the type of person that go for it all. So I got a feeling he's gonna throw Bucky in there, but you never know.
but also, Vaughn on draft day, he's the type of person to go for it all,
He's I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
right?
I'm doing it. And
But throughout the season, the man hardly makes any moves. Or like he'll set his lineup on Sunday. I'd be interested to see the number of acquisitions he makes. He's normally the lowest in the league. So I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves Bucky on the bench. But if you were Vaughn, who would you play? Would you play Tony Pollard or would you play Bucky Irving?
I think it depends on the matchup. Are you talking about next week or for the playoffs? I would say next week, right?
Season long, going forward.
Oh,
if you were to pick one player,
I mean,
going forward.
I mean, I will say Tony Pollard's
that's a pretty good schedule.
Yeah, pretty good schedule here. So
Bucky's got a pretty good schedule too, though.
But
he's got Vegas.
Bucky's also, like you said, he's dealing with the hip, and I know he did really well, but who knows how that hip's feeling right now?
Yeah.
And definitely, I mean, his schedule's not too bad either. So I don't know. It's kind of a coin flip. I think I'd be kind of sticking with my guns, but I mean, it's definitely a tough because they're definitely keeping A-Chain and Jacobs in there. So, I mean,
all right. So are you going Pollard?
Probably.
Okay, I'm going Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
Let's do a little mini game. No. I mean, that's what the podcast is all about. Let's do a little mini game. Rest of season, so up until week 17, who scores more fantasy points?
No. Oh, I'd probably say Bucky then.
Well,
I'm thinking.
What are you talking about?
Like if I'm starting someone next week and I'm trying to make the playoffs.
I'm saying season long.
Season long. I think Bucky will get more points than.
Okay, then there's no mini game. We both think the same thing.
I do think that, but I do think for next week, I would if I'm in his position, I'm starting Pollard probably.
Yeah, he plays Jacksonville, so it's a pretty good matchup.
I would need to see another 25 rush game from Bucky Irving. You know what I mean? It's not consistent enough for me to start him in, we'll talk about the playoff stipulations, but in the position that he's in, I don't know if it's worth the risk, but I'm more of a safe guy when it comes to that. I know Vaughn's, likes to roll the dice, so I definitely think he's considering putting Bucky in, especially if he's listening.
Yeah, we'll see what he does.
All right. Then our last matchup. This was a big matchup for
both teams.
Punishment battle, and Ruben prevails with 146. One of his better games of the season. And I mean, dude, this man, Brock Bowers is a beast. He's a beast. He's legit. He's the guy.
14 targets.
It's so crazy what he's doing in this offense. This is one of one of the lower end teams in the entire NFL, especially offensively. And he's putting up these numbers. Imagine when he's on when the offense is good. Imagine.
Yeah.
Definitely, the fact that he can, put up this kind of points in the Raiders offense is, it's pretty phenomenal, I'd say.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. 30 fantasy points. He's a tight end 1, and he's a rookie.
Yeah.
This happened last season with Sam Laporta.
But dude, he's had a better season than Laporta for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean Laporta was more touchdown.
Yeah.
More touchdown stuff.
Yeah, but
Bowers is getting both touchdowns and all the receptions.
Brock Bowers is a big yak guy. He's a big yak guy, so he's getting those catches and he's making plays. He's getting those yards, and you don't really see that from many tight ends. So definitely a special player, and I'm in a couple keeper leagues, and Brock Bowers is the biggest keeper league steal, I would say, because got drafted pretty late.
You got him late, yeah.
And tight end's a very slim position in the fantasy lineup. So if you're in a dynasty or keeper league and you have Brock Bowers, you're pretty stoked.
Definitely.
But Troy's team actually played pretty well this week. Coming off the win off, one of the toughest teams in the league, spiritually connected last week. It was a tough match, tough to go back to back. can be another tough team. I mean, McCaffrey didn't help, but Keenan Allen, Trey McBride, solid games. I mean, his team's not bad. His team's not bad, but it's not great either.
I mean, we'll get into this, I think, after this segment's almost over. After the next segment, we'll get into this.
Yeah.
We did, as many of you know, we did a redraft, I guess 4 weeks ago, 3 or 4 episodes ago. And spoiler, I'm crushing it. And we have, 7 players, quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, and a flex. Well, maybe that's it, the 6.
No, it's 7.
No, that's 7. Okay, 7.
It's been a long day. It's been a
long day of already doing math somewhere else.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah.
7 players. 3 of my players are on Troy's team. I have Trey McBride, Nico Collins, and Alvin Kamara. Like they're top tier players. End of season. Knock on wood, obviously.
Yeah.
Yet he's 4-9. Like that's just been the type of season that Troy's had to deal with. Kind of crazy. I mean, still put up 123. Had CMC, who was cooking prior to exit, and then Rome Odunze only 4.5 points.
I mean, it's definitely tough when you're playing both Chicago Bears receivers because you're kind of putting your eggs in the same basket.
Yeah.
Because even if one does well, doesn't mean the other one's going to do well. I do want to note this. Doesn't Lucas have McCaffrey on his redraft team?
Yeah, so that's what we were going to get at. I was going to bring that up.
We got to talk about that later and kind of figure out what we're going to do with that. Because, I mean, does he bite the bullet or do we draw him out?
Do we give him a waiver?
Just let him draft somebody else. Who knows?
We'll see. We can
maybe a 1
we can discuss.
Buffer. Maybe a 1 week buffer. But we'll figure it out. But anyways, that's the fantasy matchups for week 13. But I do want to transition over to the playoff bracket because this is the last week of the fantasy regular season is this week. So definitely want to talk about, who's going to be making the playoffs. What's the playoff picture looking like? Who's fighting for the punishment? What's kind of going on here? So I'll start off by saying we got one team that's clinched, which is Jason. And then we got pretty much 3 other teams that are kind of locked in. They would need things to go horribly wrong for them to exit, which would be Justin, Lucas, and Verani. But we got 4 teams that are fine for those last 2 spots. Justin, you want to take it away on that?
Yeah, so we got Justice in that 5 seed who was in the 1 or 2 seed a few weeks ago. Kind of on a cold streak with his team. And we got Vaughn who's been making a comeback. He was out of the playoffs last week. Was able to win. And then Zach lost to me, so he was able to jump into playoffs. So you got Zach and Jack fighting for that last playoff spot. There's a lot of different. I feel like, I mean, maybe not a lot, but there are several ways of things that can shake out. Obviously, the one thing to note is none of those 4 teams play each other this week. Is that correct?
That's correct. So, which I feel like would make it a bit more interesting because it's like, oh, you need this game to get in directly, but
now it's like
going to be interesting. I will say the seeding, can fluctuate a lot this week, especially with who based on the matchups and the points. But pretty much, if Justice wins, if Justice wins, he's in. He needs to win. If Justice wins, he's in. If Vaughn wins, he's pretty much in, but he needs to outscore Jack.
By like 9 points.
Or no, he needs Jack to not outscore him by 9 points, plus Jack has to win.
Yes.
So that's kind of the 1 point stipulation where those 2 teams are pretty close in points 4. So
for Zach to get in, he needs to win.
Yeah.
And have
everyone else
two of the teams above him lose.
Yes.
Because his points 4 are abysmal. they're in line with the two people in last place right now, Troy and Adam. And you see them at the 11-12 seed, and he's got the 8 seed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically the thing. I mean, with the, and then, me, Jason, Lucas, and Patrick all fighting for a bye week.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I lose and Patrick or Lucas win this week, I think one of the duo is playing each other, and maybe Lucas against Jason, or it's Lucas against Patrick. I'm not sure who.
I
No,
play
you play
Patrick.
Patrick. So
I
maybe
play
it's Lucas.
Patrick. Yeah.
Maybe it's Lucas against Jason. They play this week, so that kind of helps. That kind of helps me be able to maintain a bye.
Yeah, that'd be huge for you.
If I win and Jason loses, I get the 1 seed. And as it's currently placed, like if this were the bracket, right? But the only thing to change were me and Jason flipping 1 and 2. You never want to wish you get some like a certain matchup. You don't want to like pick and choose. But I would prefer to be on the side of the bracket with Justice and Lucas.
Yeah.
Two teams that are kind of on the downtrend. Like Lucas is dealing with a lot of injuries right now. Versus Vaughn's team, I think if he makes it, can make a run, and then Patrick's team can pop off any given week.
Patrick's coming off he's had a couple losses in a row, or not in a row, but he's had some losses in the past few weeks.
He's had 3 in a row. 3 losses in a row.
The form's not very good, so that's what you're kind of looking for, seeing what's the team's form going into the playoffs. I do want to shine a light on the bottom of the bracket because it does mean I do have some stake in this. I need the win, and if Andrew and Troy lose, I'm out of the punishment, and that would be the most. It'd be a big miracle. It'd be a big miracle. I wish I would have beat Troy, or like 2 weeks ago. He would have been locked in for a punishment right now, pretty much. But hey, miracles do happen, don't you say, Justin?
I think so. I mean, I believe I could be wrong, but I played Troy this week.
Yeah, need you.
So I know that.
You to win.
So if I win, that helps. Which, as of right now, famous words of our dear friend Ryan Salazzo, projections do not matter. That is so true. But as of right now, I'm projected 138 points, and Troy's projected 104. So you'd think the odds would be in my favor. Knock on wood. But that helps. Like say you give that a lock, which now that I say that, I'm losing. I probably won't even get in the playoffs.
Yeah,
so
right. Yeah,
you make that happen, right? I win. That helps you out. I think Andrew plays Jack this week, and I sure know Jack. He's fighting for playoffs. He wants to win.
Yep.
But that'll be the tough one because Andrew's team is good.
Yep.
And
just unlucky.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I think the only person that doesn't really have any stake in anything is Ruben. He can kind of just chill and coast. Even if we all win, I think the point differential or the points for,
it's just the bottom 2. Yeah, if you and Troy both win.
The points are we're so far behind. We're in the 1300s. Like, there's no way we catch up. Both of us catch up. So, definitely fighting in.
What will make it? I guess last point. What might make it tough for you with Andrew losing is, I believe, Jack. It's week 14.
Yeah.
And he has Jaden Daniels as his quarterback. He'll be on a bye. Yeah. And Jonathan Taylor, who had 2 down weeks, but then last week had a good week, he's on a bye as well. So he's having to kind of plug and play his lineups. He's still got solid players and Shuba Hubbard and
not ideal.
Pacheco, who maybe you're not. Who knows what happens this week?
Yeah, no, he didn't do great for me in my other league. I was excited to start him again and didn't really perform at all. So we'll see how he does next week. But definitely it was his first week back. But yeah, excited to see what it looks like, and we'll update everyone next week on what it looks like and do a little playoff preview. Going in, so that'll be fun.
It's getting to be that time of the year. We'll see what happens.
All right, Justin, I think it's time to show the Redraft League point totals. I think I already know what it's going to look like. I'm going to
See
be
it?
in last. Yep. Oh God, you're over 100 points. And
My team.
I don't have 3 players next week. Oh
Yeah.
my. Oh boy. Wait. I thought I only had 4 buys.
The George Kittle was out this week.
Oh.
He was out.
Yeah, no. Keep CMC in there. I got move on. I got
You got to make up some ground.
I got half the team out. Keep CMC in there. That you should have known he was getting hurt, Lucas. So keep it.
So we'll see.
It's decided.
When it comes to, he hasn't had a bye week in this, and so technically that would even out between, well, not even. You would still have 5 to his 4. I have 4, so we were even in terms of buys, except you had George Kittle.
Yeah.
But yeah, my team's playing tremendous.
Yep.
This solid week.
Dude, I haven't even cracked 100.
Yeah, I think
any of the weeks. What the hell? Oh, this is not my year in fantasy. Holy, this is bad. This is bad. I'm not in prime form.
This is what it is. Going into week 14.
But your
this
team's
is the
looking
scores.
solid, man. I mean, Trey McBride. I mean, no one really had an outlandish week like Saquon last week, but everyone having
Right,
double
but still,
digits.
everybody put up. Jameer only had 10, but everybody, 15 to 20 points. It's crazy how I scored more points last week, down 2 players than this week.
That's the highest scoring week of the entire thing because of Saquon.
Yeah, 46 from Saquon. But heading into next week, that's something we'll have to discuss, whether or not he gets a replacement or I guess technical waiver wire.
Because I feel like it'd be interesting because like if any of our other players get hurt, then it's like
Right. I think we could propose like to make it a little bit more interesting. Like if you want to drop a player, for him, it would be CMC, right?
Yeah, maybe like a post.
But like you could get like 1 drop rest of season.
Yeah.
Or something.
How about because why don't we do that after week 14? Because then that's like the end of the regular season. So then for the playoffs, we have 1 drop.
Okay.
So
sure.
And then it'd be priority based off like who had
inverse
the
of standings.
So or it should be least amount of points like the waiver wire to make it interesting.
Should we what?
I'm either saying should the team with the most points get first priority because they have the most points, or should the team with the least amount of points get first priority so then it like evens out potentially.
Yeah, least amount of points.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you get first priority.
Yeah.
As of right now, you'd have first priority. What do you have any? I mean, I don't know if you want to give it away, but any
I think
ideas
it's pretty
of who you want
obvious
to
right
set
now.
out?
I think it's pretty obvious right now based off just looking at my team.
So I have an idea of who I would pick to sub out. Who would you sub out?
Well, I'm not gonna give it away, but just say it.
I think you would sub out Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. That means you have to pick up a wide receiver.
Could it be a possibility if I decided to pick up a running back, I could move CeeDee Lamb to my receiver?
I guess, yeah, sure.
It's like I'm managing my lineup.
Right.
Okay, I like that. Well, I got to think about who I want, but maybe Bucky
I know
Irving.
who I would want, but
dude, should I pick up Bucky Irving?
You should. I don't even know if I'd drop anybody at this point, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Maybe quarterback, but
look at you. Hey, Lucas picked Jaden Daniels instead of Josh Allen, which is crazy to me, and like he's actually
kind of worked. Well. Yeah.
Because I was really banking on that Lamar Derrick Henry kind of combo, and it's not really.
I mean, what's been tough for Derrick is he just hasn't gotten the touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like you add 1 or 2, like he's
Yeah, dude, he's had the streak. Like this is like that line right there is reminding me like of when he used to play for the Titans. Like that's what his scores would look like.
Yeah.
So.
But you think he would playoff Henry? He'll.
Yeah.
I've got
especially
faith he
if the
put.
Ravens are fine. I mean, their division's tight, so it's gonna be a bit more competitive.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
all
the
right.
recap.
Well,
We
that's
got a
not what I
pretty
want to
pretty
see.
sizable lead.
It is what it is. I
You
mean,
you and Lucas, you might get a little bit of help this week since he'll
yeah, with
have
me getting 3 players
an
out.
NA.
Yeah,
But 3 players
need a
is
big
kind of
week
tough
from
to deal
Garrett
with.
Wilson, right?
Yeah. Hey, he had 10 targets in this week. Maybe that turns
Yeah,
into some
more
more
targets
points.
than points. What the hell?
Yeah. Not a good look.
All
And
right.
CeeDee Lamb
Yeah, I don't know
questionable
how
to
good of
play
a
this
pick that
week.
was. Yeah, that wasn't a great pick either.
You don't know what'll happen this week. We shall see.
All right. All right. All right. It's time for pick'em, baby. It's time for pick'em. We're nearly the end of our football segment. Fly through these like always. I think I won last week again.
Yes, you did.
And it's been my one bright spot in the football season. It's been winning these pick'em matchups, but it is what it is. Packers Lions. This is a really good Thursday night game. This is probably my favorite Thursday night game of the year, just because of the stakes that are there and how good these teams are. Going with the Lions. Can't pick against the Lions. I think they're the best team in the NFL. They're definitely gonna have a challenge, but definitely with a home field advantage, it's gonna be nice. I'm riding with the Detroit.
Yeah. I'm going with Detroit as well. They're really good at home. What made me a little nervous, like not nervous, but they almost blew the lead against the Bears. Like they barely put up any points
Mm-hmm.
in the second half. So, and the Packers have been playing well, but Lions at home, very good home team, very good fan base. I mean, I'm hoping for a shootout.
Yeah.
But I got the Lions pulling this one out.
All right. Oh, straight to another banger. Jaguars Titans. Justin.
Mac Jones, you got to save me. I'm going with the Jaguars. Going with the
Ooh.
Jaguars in this one. I picked the Titans to beat. Who did I pick the Titans to beat? Crazy pick
Oh,
last
the
week.
Commanders.
The Commanders, because the Commanders were like kind of struggling, ish.
Yeah.
Like,
It was based
and
off form because the Titans just had that win. And the Commanders
so,
lost. So
but
I got the
I
thought
should have
process,
looked.
but
I should have looked deeper into that win against the Texans, because like I think the Titans still turned the ball over 3 or 4 times. I'm gonna go with the Jaguars in this though. Kind of the same thing. It's weird. So I picked the Titans after beating the Jaguars. I'm sorry, I picked the Titans after beating the Texans to beat the Commanders. The Jacksonville Jaguars just played the Texans last week in a close-ish game. I mean, 23-20. Uh, Same team. I'm gonna go Jaguars.
I'm gonna go with the Titans actually. Definitely a more favorable matchup for them instead of the Commanders. I think Jacksonville's definitely beatable, and I mean, dude, the Titans are the Titans. Like they're not great, but I think this is like an even game. But roll with the Titans. I think they'll outdo the Jaguars, especially with Trevor Lawrence out. It's kind of a lot of question marks going on. How's Mac Jones going to look like with another full game?
Yeah,
Roll with Tennessee.
it'll be an interesting game. I think so someone who's kind of been becoming fantasy relevant on the Titans, Nick Akine Westbrook or
Yeah, the
Westbrook
touchdown merchant.
Akine.
Yeah,
He's like having a Gabe Davis type of season when Gabe Davis was on the Bills a few seasons ago.
yeah,
Um, 18 total catches on the year. Westbrook Akine has.
yeah.
He I don't think he played until week 6 or week 7. He missed the first several weeks
How
of
many
the
touchdowns he
season.
got?
18 catches, 8 touchdowns.
That's
Nearly
wild.
50% touchdown catch rate.
That is crazy.
So
I'm curious to see what
we'll
his
see if that
yards.
continues this week.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll happen because they're playing the Jaguars. I think it's definitely likely.
It's likely.
All right, Jets going to Miami. Rolling with Miami. Miami's back on the incline. They definitely had the dip with Tua out. They're finally getting back to full strength, and the Jets are just a mess right now. It's just really hard to pick them against Miami. Rolling with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I got the Dolphins as well. Enough said, honestly. Jets
Yeah.
suck.
All right, another decent matchup. Atlanta, Minnesota.
Yeah. Another team that kind of hurt me last week in Atlanta. Trying to be different, trying to pick them against the Chargers. And they should have won that game, bro. Like Kirk Cousins sold through 4 interceptions.
Kirko.
Multiple interceptions like on score like scoring capable drives. It's whatever. I'm going with the Vikings this time, so hopefully I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, going with the Vikings as well. If it wasn't for the Lions, they'd definitely be leading the division. They're having an amazing season. And I think the Falcons sometimes make too many mistakes. So, going with
Yeah.
Minnesota. All right, a barn burner. New Orleans traveling up north to face the Giants. I'm Ryan with. I was thinking about picking the Giants. I was really tempted, especially because they had a home
Well,
game and it seems like a favorable matchup. But going with the Saints. I just don't think the Giants have got their quarterback situation figured out. It's just too much. It's a tough situation right now up in New York, and I think the Saints can probably just out edge them. Gotta go. I'm gonna go with the Saints.
I'm gonna go with the Saints too. The Giants, like their co-New York team, the New York Jets, they suck. The quarterback situation has been crazy this season. I think some players were kind of upset that they let go of Daniel Jones, which, in all fairness, sure, like Daniel Jones is probably better than, well, I'd say he is better than Drew Lock and Tommy
Yeah.
DeVito,
Oh yeah.
but you had to let him go. Otherwise, you're going to owe him like a ton of freaking money next season, especially if he gets hurt.
Yeah.
It was definitely the best move for the Giants to do. The way they went about it might have not been the best. Like they demoted him to like QB4. They told him, "Yo, just stay at home." But nevertheless, the Giants' situation's a mess. Their quarterback's not not the brightest. Whether they go with Tommy DeVito or Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito definitely more entertaining player.
Yep.
But there's no
Definitely
hope
for
for
the
them. I
memes.
don't
Yeah.
think
All right.
Saints should win.
Carolina, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia Eagles. This I think the second closest we've had to. It's pretty close. Like when we had the Lions minus 1,000 against the Jacksonville Jaguars,
Yep. This close.
the Eagles are minus 900.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Eagles at home too. It's the Panthers. It's like not even.
I'm going with the Eagles. They're just levels above the Panthers. Shouldn't even be a competition at this point. Should Eagles don't blow this one.
I
Seriously.
think one thing about the Eagles to note, not I don't think relevant in this game, but I think Dallas Goddard is injured. I feel like he got injured, or maybe even being placed on IR.
Huh.
Let me fact check that real
Take a
quick.
rest at least this week, Dallas. You don't need to play.
He's questionable. He's questionable.
Yeah, he doesn't need to play this week.
Not participating in today's practice.
Take the week off.
But him and Devonta Smith.
Yep.
Both injured. It'll be interesting just for
Smith was out
playoffs.
last week. He's been kind of in and out recently, so I'm interested to see what happens there. But they can definitely rest a lot of guys in this matchup. Should be an easy win.
Yeah.
But this
Eagles.
next matchup is a little more closer than you think on paper. The odds are pretty representative. I feel like it's a bit closer than that. I think the odds are like that because of the records, but I think Browns definitely have a shot. But especially with this AFC North, it's pretty wild. But I'm gonna go with the Steelers. At home definitely helps. They got all the advantages. Jameis Winston's been playing well, but Ryan with the Steelers to outdo the Browns.
Yeah, I got the Steelers as well in this one. The Browns beat the Steelers 2 weeks ago on Thursday night in a snow game.
Yep.
But I don't know if I looked at the weather. I'm hoping it's better this weekend. And Pittsburgh, tough place to play. Steelers are coming off a crazy victory against the Bengals this past week.
Yep.
So I got the Steelers in this one as well.
All right. Vegas, Tampa.
I'm going Tampa. They're 6-6. Falcons are now 6-6. Falcons have the 2-0 series lead, or against the Bucks. But the Bucks are trying to make this playoff push. If they win that division, they're in. And so Falcons with a tough matchup against the Vikings this week. Tampa Bay with an on paper easy matchup against the Raiders. The Raiders did give the Chiefs a run for their money this past week, but
Yep.
I got the Buccaneers in this one, and definitely rooting for them to make the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Yeah, this is definitely Tampa's chance to take the division lead, and I think they do against the Raiders. Baker and the boys have been balling. A little alliteration there. But yeah, going with Tampa Bay. I think Vegas is better than 2-10. I will say, but
I don't know, dude. They suck. I think the only
I mean, dude, if you look at like the other like teams around this record, they're a bit better. Like if I put them up against the Titans have a better record, I'd pick the Raiders over the Titans. Like, but they're not great either. I know what you're saying.
yeah, it's tough.
Dude,
It's
honestly,
really
I
tough.
can't remember who I picked for this matchup, but it's my choice. So first, so I'll just pick it. But oh, tough. I'm literally it's literally 50-50 in my opinion.
I agree. They played 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, who won that again?
The Seahawks did, and you picked the Seahawks, and I picked the Cardinals. So come on, let's flip it. Let's flip it, dog. Let's flip it.
You know what? Let me check my phone and see who I actually picked on here, so I'll be fair.
Okay,
And
I'll give mine
kinda,
away then. I picked the Seahawks to win. I think looking back on it, maybe I'd flip it because Seahawks were at home that time. Cardinals were coming off a bye.
my pick was the Cardinals, so
It
I'm riding with
was
the
okay.
Cardinals.
We're
So we
doing it.
flipped it. We flipped it. I think the home field advantage is a big deal in this situation. Um, so I think if this favors Arizona a bit. I mean, I do like Seattle. I do think Seattle or LA are going to win the division, but I have a feeling about Arizona in this game.
Okay.
And you said you got Seattle.
Yeah, I got Seattle.
All
They're
right. So I'll let you do this one next. Buffalo and LA.
I got Buffalo in this one. The Bills have been dominant. Um, Josh Allen, crazy play that helped me. I
Yeah.
think I would have won without it, maybe, but maybe not. I mean, it depends if he would have even got the touchdown.
Yeah.
Because if he throws that, for the people who didn't see, he threw it to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, it was like nearly an uncatchable ball. Amari Cooper one hands it and then tosses it back to Josh Allen, and Josh Allen runs into the end zone. Did you see?
That's
You saw
crazy.
this, right?
No, I didn't. No.
Did you know about it?
No. This is the first time I heard about
What?
it.
I messaged in our group chat. Okay, so let me run you through it. All right,
You
they're on like the
just
five.
did. You just did.
No, no, no,
I
no, no.
listened to it.
But they're on the 5 yard line. He throws it in the snow game, and Amari Cooper has to reach like far out with the defender on his back.
Yeah.
Manages to pull it in. You think, okay, he's down there. Josh Allen might not even get a touchdown at all. Maybe they run it in. Whatever. Catches it. Josh Allen kind of like hovers behind Amari Cooper. I don't think really thinking much. Amari Cooper laterals it just like straight back to him. Josh Allen then proceeds to catch that and run to the pylon and like dive and touch the
That's
ball in the
crazy.
pylon.
That's crazy,
Touchdown,
actually.
right?
Yeah.
You want to know what's even crazier? He got points for a passing touchdown
Oh.
and a receiving touchdown.
I do have Josh Allen in the league, so it did help.
Passing
That's
touchdown
great.
and a receiving touchdown.
He
And he also
also
rushed for a touchdown
and then
in
he
the
also
game.
a couple weeks ago had a play of a lifetime to beat the Chiefs. So shout out Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Shout out Josh Allen.
But that's he
Speaking
didn't
of
he
Josh
doesn't
Allen, oh
I don't think he gets a point for the reception or the yards, but that's a 10-point play
no,
from a quarterback that's pretty good.
no.
Pretty solid.
Well, speaking of Josh Allen, I'm riding with the Bills. I think the Bills are going to win. Bills are dominant. If they do some more trick plays against LA, then that'd be crazy. But yeah, LA's a good team, man. LA's a good team,
Yeah.
but they're just clearly outmatched here. All right. This is an interesting one. Two teams that are kind of, struggling this year, trying to rebound. We got the Bears traveling to Santa Clara against the Niners. And I'm going to go with the Niners. I just can't pick the Bears just got rid of Eberflus, so I'm just not even I'm not even sure what the team's going to look like next week. How do they rebound after that firing? Do they perform or do they fall over? And I think the Niners got a lot to prove right now, and I still think they're still fighting. They're still fighting there, and they got to win this game if they even want a sliver of a chance. So I'm gonna go with the Niners.
Yeah. I
Go
obviously
with the
have the
Bears,
Niners.
dude. Go with the Bears. Are you gonna go with the Bears to see if Brock plays or not? If Brock doesn't play, you can go with
No,
the
no, no.
Bears, and then
That was against the Bills. That's a fair thing to do for. I got
Bills, Bears.
I
Come on.
got I got the Niners in this one. One thing I will say is historically, maybe it's just because of like I just feel like it happens a lot. But whenever a team fires their head coach, the next week they pop off. Like they have somehow like everything goes out the
Is this against
window.
the Niners or just any team?
Any team like it happened earlier this season. The Saints went on. The Saints started 2-0, putting up back-to-back 40-point weeks. They were being dubbed playoff and Super Bowl contenders by the media.
Yeah.
Then proceed to go on like a 6-game losing streak or 8-game losing streak, fire their head coach, and then they win the following week.
Yeah.
It happened last year when the Raiders fired Josh McDaniels. Antonio Pierce comes in and they dominate. They have a crazy game the following game. I don't know if it was the game that they. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna whatever. But they had a crazy game and they won. They won the following game when Antonio Pierce took over. And you've kind of seen this firings happen, and all of a sudden, for like 1 week, the team gets some, fairy dust and does something good. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens here. But
Yep.
I got to pick the Niners, and I hope. I mean, they have to win. The playoff chances are slowly going out the window. I don't even know if I want them to make the playoffs at this point. Like, not saying to tank, but if we make the playoffs, it's just going to be an embarrassment. Like, we're going to get demolished by whoever makes it out of the NFC.
Yeah. Oh, this thing's in the way. All right. I know who you're going to pick here. Chargers or Chiefs?
This is tough.
Come on, you know who you want to pick and you know who you have to pick, and they're both different.
This is tough. And this is where I really want like an injury asterisk.
No.
I know I can't do it. It's so tough. I just think so. Let me tell you what I want to do. What everybody knows I want to do. I want to pick the Chargers. Okay.
Just
The
pick
thing that
them
I'm
then.
the
Come
thing that
on.
I'm
Game's a game.
the thing that I'm scared about is I think the Chargers could beat the Chiefs. I do.
Pick them then.
The thing that I'm scared about is Lad McConkey. He's dealing with a shoulder injury
Oh my
and
goodness.
may
You're not
not
doing
play.
it.
I'm
Are we
not. I'm
really
not doing
doing
the
an injury
asterisk. I have picked.
simulation on
I'm
Lad
picking. I'm
McConkey?
pick. No, I'm picking a team. I'm just expressing to you my thought process. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just nervous. I'm nervous to pick the Chargers because if Lad McConkey doesn't play, I
Well,
really don't think the Chargers have a chance.
okay, so then who are you going to pick?
I got to pick the Chiefs. Sadly,
That'll definitely hurt for you.
I got to pick the Chiefs. It's just, yeah. I will say if Lad McConkey plays, they have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
If Lad McConkey doesn't play, I just think because the Chargers, like, Quentin Johnston has had a decent season, definitely a comeback season related to like what happened last season with all of his drops. But in the past 2 weeks, Quentin Johnston has dropped the freaking ball,
Yeah,
literally
he's been
and
off.
figuratively.
He's been
He's
off.
been
I got to start
terrible.
him this week because I
Like
got
he
no
he
other option.
can't. It's really bad. It's
Bad.
really bad.
Dude, every time I see him play, it's like he's trying to catch a wet bar of soap. Like, it's embarrassing, honestly.
Yeah. And, in a game last week where you figured that it was going to be high scoring, Chargers-Falcons, the Chargers only put up 17 points. Without Ladd, I don't think there's a chance. They already don't have J.K. Dobbins for this matchup. So I just think too many things are not going right for the Chargers right now.
Okay. I'm kind of in a pickle with this one, too. Because I heard the Chiefs long snapper tweaked his ankle.
What?
And I'm not sure if he's gonna play or not. So, like, can we just agree? Like, if he plays, I got the Chiefs. But if he doesn't play, then I could go to the Chargers.
Sure. Sure, I'll give it to you. Sure.
Oh, dude.
Is that what you want?
I'm joshing. I'm messing around. Giving you a hard time. Because all these injury stipulations.
I'm just expressing my thought process.
Hey, that was my thought process,
Okay.
Going with the Chiefs. I mean, they're just the better team. Move on. All right. Bengals Cowboys Monday Night Football.
Gosh.
I'm going with the Bengals. Bongles.
Yeah. I mean,
Gotta go with the Bongles. This is their chance. This is their chance. They want to make a push. They're losing.
There's no real push to be made.
Huh?
There's no real push to be made, bro.
There's a chance. There's a chance. Come on, you never know with the AFC North. You never know with the AFC North.
What, dude? They have Lamar and the Steelers, who are at the top of
any chance in the world, they have to win this game.
That's been the factor the past 4 games. I agree. I mean, whatever.
Dude, I know, but we're talking about week 14. Okay, we're not talking about any other weeks. We're talking week 14.
I got the Bengals winning this game.
Yeah, Bengals. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Bengals.
F the Cowboys. Maybe not.
Okay, so we have 2 different.
Which ones?
We have Cardinals,
Cardinals,
Seattle,
Seahawks,
and we have
Jaguars. So we
gotta do confidence.
Gotta go confidence pick.
And you won last week, so you get to pick.
I know what I'm rocking with.
And I know who you're going with.
Give me a clue of what you think.
Well, no, I can't, because then you'll change your mind.
No, I'm not going to change it. I know who I'm going to pick.
Okay, I would pick the Eagles over the Panthers.
Yeah, no, that's who I was picking, yeah.
Dude, you freaking dog.
I had to. I mean, it might be a little closer because they're battling some injuries, but, I mean, Saquon's going to run up and down this Panthers defense. Holy, it's going to be a whitewash.
Dude, no, this is literally the easiest freaking W of all time. Okay.
Who are you rocking with? Do you want me to scroll through, or you got someone in mind?
I need you to scroll.
Niners?
No.
Chiefs?
No. Okay. Go.
Dude, honestly, I feel like the Eagles were the obvious one.
Yeah, they are. That's the one I would have picked.
Dude, this could be a sleeper. Miami. They could whitewash the Jets.
Yeah, I'll go with Miami over the Jets.
All right, Miami it is.
The Jets suck.
Yeah. All right, that's it for football. That's it. Nearly an hour and a half in on Wednesday night. Super late.
We love to yap.
Yep. This podcast is for
quick. Lakers rant. Then I'll give you the floor with your San Diego State.
Yeah.
The Lakers suck, dude. The Lakers are awful, and I think we talked about this. I think they were 10-4, top 3 in the West early in the season, but that record was literally so inflated. They had started the season 3-0 against good teams: Kings, Suns, Timberwolves. I was like, all right, let's freaking go. Then they proceed to lose. They almost lose to the Raptors. They lose to the Grizzlies with without John. I think without John Morant, but maybe with. They lose to the Pistons. They're losing to a bunch of garbage. Okay. Then they proceed. They stack up some wins. All right, they're 3-4. They go on a 7-game win streak. They get to, or maybe they're 4-4. Either way, they get to 10-4. And people are like, "Oh wow, the Lakers are really good." And I'm just thinking, no, they're beating a bunch of garbage. They're beating a bunch of garbage, or teams that are just not championship contenders. Whenever they play a championship contender, they play the Suns in the NBA Cup. They lose by 27. They play the Oklahoma City Thunder. They lose by like 11 or 12, which has traditionally been a really good matchup for the Lakers because of Anthony Davis being able to dominate against them. But of course, Isaiah Hartenstein returns to the OKC lineup like a game or that game.
He's been
and
dogging.
he's
been
a
good.
big body.
He's been good. Man. So he's been averaging like 14 and 14. Like,
yeah, he's solid. I mean, he was great for the Knicks last year. He was great, and he goes to OKC, who needed that big body.
Relieve the stress off Chet.
Yeah, and then to make matters freaking worse, okay, to make it worse, well, two things. They play the Timberwolves. They get dogged. They get dogged by the Timberwolves. They lost by like 20-something, maybe even 30. LeBron, terrible. Terrible.
How has he been shooting from three recently?
Terrible.
No, can you remind the people
today?
Oh no,
I'm getting there. Today, I get a notification on my phone. I didn't even know the Lakers were playing today.
It's not bad.
Because
you watch every game. Game.
The game was at like 4:30.
Yeah.
Because they're playing on the East Coast, and I'm at work, but I check my phone. I see a notification. Oh, LeBron ended his cold streak. He started the season shooting over 40% from three, then went on to miss 20 straight 3-point attempts. Against the Timberwolves, he airballed one
I saw that one.
Incredibly bad. Incredibly bad.
Bad.
He made it. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I get a notification. Oh, LeBron, 25 points through however many minutes. Oh, nice. Okay, let's check the score of this game. Who are they even playing? They're playing the Miami Heat, and let me tell you, they lost by 41 points. 41 points, dude. That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing, dude. Oh my gosh.
Embarrassing, dude, for sure.
Tyler Hero had 31 points through three quarters. He made 6 straight threes.
Put a hand up.
Defend the guy, dude. Put a hand up. Close out, dude. Dalton Connect had a hot streak. We're thinking, oh my gosh, rookie of the year. He sucked in recent games on offense, dude. It's just like, it's frustrating to watch. Anthony Davis, I think, only had like 8 points.
Win rookie of the year.
Yeah, TikTok dance, painted nails.
Embarrassing.
It's terrible.
It's bad.
I'm
Maybe
scared.
I'm glad I'm not spending effort in watching them because all I hear is
tough. I got the Lakers. I got the Niners. I got the Giants. It's not a good year for my sports teams.
It's in the downswing right now. I mean,
it's not.
Lakers could definitely bring it back, but it's not good right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at so many articles talking about who the Lakers are going to trade for.
Dude, the season barely started. You're already looking at trades?
Not me, dude. It's all these freaking media outlets. They just all propose trade. They're all terrible. All
there's
never
no
going
source.
to happen.
There's no source for these.
But it's just like, no, but it's still like, oh, they should target Jonas Valanciunas. I don't think they should, bro. Jonas is not going to win you championships, dude. He's a couch potato. He's a couch potato.
Too much weight in the private jet. And spend more on gas.
It's not good, dude. It's not good. The only trade I would want at this point, and it can't even happen because the players that the Lakers want to trade away, right? All their fans want to trade all these players. They suck. Why are they going to take them? You going to take Christian Wood? Sucks. He hasn't even played this year. You going to take Gabe Vincent? Sucks.
God.
Maybe, I don't understand. I don't understand. The only way you trade you can get anything in a trade is if you trade D'Lo and Rui, which I'm okay with. I'm definitely okay with trading D'Lo, but he's been I don't know.
You know what's a side note about Gabe Vincent? Our last high school basketball game was his jersey retirement
Our last high school basketball game,
at St. Mary's in the playoffs.
he was no.
Yeah, I swear to God, he
His
wasn't
jersey was retired.
he wasn't like a big name yet. This is 2019.
And we did you wait? Like, do you remember seeing it?
No, but I read an article.
Huh? Maybe they did it
Like my
pre-game.
dad
I
showed
don't
me an
remember that.
article about this. Yeah, I'm about to look this up. I
That's
swear.
cool. That's
But
cool. I mean, you went to not
St.
a
Mary's.
big school in UC Santa Barbara for
Yep.
basketball.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the Big West,
Yep.
or maybe they're right.
Well, all right. Maybe Gabe Vincent shouldn't be getting this much attention right now.
Well, yeah,
Maybe
you
play
brought it
better.
up.
And we'll have a segment on you, Gabe Vincent. But
I was excited about that signing post the Miami Heat finals run,
yeah,
and he comes in and he's he's
stinking
terrible.
it, stinking it.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Well, we can transition into some positive basketball. Really positive
For
basketball.
you,
Yeah. Hey, man. You can
let's
always
see.
watch and
While,
follow.
while, while you're talking,
One team
yeah,
to watch.
go
Yeah.
for it.
What? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna just look up Cal Poly basketball.
No, I want to talk about SDSU basketball because they're overperforming this year. I don't know if you guys have ever. You've probably seen our name around the Final Four or national championship game a couple years ago. Sweet 16 last year. We got a really young team this year. Like we weren't projected to do as well, and like our team is like majority like freshmen and sophomores. And this past week we beat number 4 Houston in overtime. Big win because they're always a 1 seed in the tournament. And then we beat Creighton, who tonight beat number 1 Kansas. So got some big wins in our belt. Top 25. So making our way, looking good. Brian Dutcher is one of the best coaches in the entire in the realm of college basketball, in my opinion. What were you saying?
What conference are they in? They change or are they
Mountain
still the
West.
same?
Mountain
They're still in the
West.
Mountain West. Okay.
Mountain West is a good conference. We had Mountain West had 5 teams in the tournament last year. So actually I think they're better basketball than Pac-12. I mean, what was the Pac-12, but one player to keep your eye on is we got the next Bull on our team. His name's Magoon Guath, and he's a 7-foot freshman who leads the nation in blocks and can shoot the 3. And I just looked, they played Fresno State today. He had 25 points and 10 rebounds and like 5 blocks. So this guy's a dog. Keep your eye on him because not many people know about him, but he's probably going to be in the league soon. So someone to keep our eye on. But definitely fun watching them play basketball. I mean, I feel like I'd be more in pain.
Happy for you.
Lakers. So that's that.
Well, I got news, baby.
Oh, Cal Poly basketball.
The Cal Poly Mustangs are 5-4.
Oh, dude, that's like more wins than they've had in like the past few years combined.
Yep, they're 5-4. They're first in the Big West right now. They're first in the Big West, which I feel like they haven't even played a team in the Big West yet. So like,
oh god,
maybe they have. I don't know. I don't recognize the logos. They play Davis next tomorrow, which is a Big West matchup, but they beat. I wouldn't say it's a huge win. Historically, though, it is. Cal Poly hits 8 threes in second half and beats Stanford 97-90 for its first win over the Cardinal since 1977.
Damn. Right.
Milestones,
right.
dude.
Cal Poly.
97 points, too. I mean,
yeah.
It's pretty solid.
Like Cal Poly in their conferences, they're only a 1 team, 1 bid team.
Yeah.
Tournament. So you got to win your conference tournament if you want to be in. They really should have pulled you up from club Cal Poly basketball to the team because they definitely need the help.
No, I don't know how much help I would have been.
You should have just tried to sabotage or something. That would have been fun.
Right.
Just get in there and just.
So the women's basketball team last year was actually pretty solid, but in years past, they had been awful record wise.
Yeah.
And so last year they were pretty good. I think they had a winning record. They didn't go, to March Madness because they didn't win the Big West tournament, but they went to like the whatever the one below is, the NAIA, whatever. That's too low. NIT. They went to that. Anyways, like pretty big for them, pretty big accomplishment because they were, I think the prior season 3-27 or something, and then they switch to, new coach, basically got rid of their whole roster and brought in other people, and had a winning record. But when they had the losing record, they my friend, someone used to take bets on Cal Poly women's basketball. Like some bookie would take bets. Okay. Or maybe Vegas. I don't know who was. No. Someone was, and he would bet on Cal Poly losing every single time and would always win money. Now I don't know, with odds what the payouts are, but
they're probably...
you're winning if you're just betting on the win. Maybe even you bet on the points, like the spread, because they lost by a lot of points every game.
Yeah.
You're probably it's a winning bet, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But anyways,
women's basketball is good to bet on if you know enough, because I feel like the scoring is very volatile. So
yeah,
and inconsistent. So, but that's enough rambling on that. That's we got deep. We got
enough
deep
on that.
Into that.
We got deep. Got in the weeds. Hey, that's what this podcast is all about. We talk sports.
Exactly.
We talk sports. We know what we're talking about. All right. Yeah. So we go back and forth. But
some of the best ball knowledge, I would say, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think some of the best ball knowledge on Spotify. So I don't know.
100%. I mean, without a doubt. Yeah. That concludes episode 10 of Milestone.
Who would have thought we'd make it to 10? That's crazy.
I know. We're doing once a week.
Very consistent. We haven't missed a week yet, so
we haven't.
We definitely have busy lives, but we still try to fit in when we can, and we enjoy doing this. So,
and for those who watch, we appreciate you. If you're watching on Spotify, hit us with a follow. If you're watching on YouTube, click that bell. It's free. It's free to subscribe to our channel. There's no cost in it. It just helps the boys out and gives us a little notification.
And maybe one day some bread comes with it.
A little skadole, We'll see.
We spend pennies, but that's
exactly.
So
exactly. Something's more than nothing. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. Well, good luck to those of you who need a win this week for fantasy playoffs,
or get out of the punishment,
or get out of the punishment.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week with our playoff preview for the Limit Fantasy League. Peace.